Okay, so we look at the Steep beta at 21:9. Now, Steep represents a genre of gaming that really has fallen from its once peak position. That being sports games, other than the main three, which have held high rankings, the football, American football, and hockey games. And whilst when I first saw the reveal, I thought it looked interesting, I was sure it wouldn't be something I personally wanted to play a lot of. Well, I can say unashamedly now that I was so wrong. This is a fantastically fun title that I am really looking forward to the full release of. Now, before I continue with my thoughts after playing the beta, let's cover the 21:9 support first. So the game natively scales to our ultra-wide screens, showing off more on the sides with no object pop-in or lighting issues. Unfortunately, the HUD is stuck to 16:9 in all moments and frequently cuts off abruptly on the right-hand side, most notably when getting things like achievements. But really, I would love to be able to have the HUD shifted to the sides of the screen, primarily so it doesn't cut off my view of the beautiful Alps. As always though, the option to put the HUD where you want it is going to be the best option, and after the Division's beautiful implementation of such customization, I'm hoping Ubisoft can give us this option in the full release of this game. Now, there are two types of cutscenes, both are pre-rendered, but one is 16:9 with black bars on the sides, that's bad enough, and the other has black bars on the sides and black bars on the top and bottom, so it's ridiculous to watch. But cutscenes are infrequent, appearing really only when you're unlocking new mountain areas to set off from. And I just have to ask as well, why do devs put such terrible pre-rendered cutscenes into games every time? Look at the quality of the pre-rendered cutscene and then the quality when you're in game. Why on earth can't they actually render quality videos? Just record in-game gameplay and then stick that in the video. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. It just doesn't seem to make any sense to me. In-game menus are 21:9 with the sides showing off more of the world behind. It works nicely on the left, but on the right in the customization section, where you're trying on different clothes, it's more noticeable it was designed for 16:9. Loading screens are 16:9 with black bars, but are hardly ever seen other than when you first load up the game. And finally, the binoculars work exactly like a 16:9, but just continue the black fade on the side, so it works perfectly on an ultra-wide screen. Performance is also extremely good. I'm running on a GTX 980 Ti at 3440x1440 and can stick everything on its highest point with just anti-aliasing on temporal filtering and post anti-aliasing on FXAA. This allows me to only rarely drop below 60 FPS into the 50s in very heavy moments. The rest of the time I'm cruising nicely above 60. Now, I've got to apologise for the fact that there's no FPS counter in this video. I totally forgot to turn it on during recording. Now, graphically the game is gorgeous. The Alps look perfect, with huge mountains covered in trees and lakes with steep slopes and rolling plains, all covered in a thick layer of puffy, crisp white snow that deforms with extreme detail on impact with any object. There is no explaining how much it matters that the detail of your hand or your board or a thrown ski pole cutting through the snow and making a visible cut into the snow does for you believing that you're really racing down a mountain. I do also want to make the clear point that Shadowplay and YouTube butcher the quality of the video. The game in person looks phenomenally better. And like I said, this game has a lot of little details, like your character running on hands and knees in steep sections, and all equipment modelled really nicely so it interacts with the environment correctly. I really like these small touches. Now, gameplay-wise, you have 4 sports and 1 walking mode. Walking really is just to move small distances before setting off with a sport. Starting with paragliding, as it's the worst part of the game, it really doesn't fit well here. It's the only sport that I feel lacks any real pull. I just can't see anyone wanting to paraglide around when the other sports are options. It feels like it was stuck in just because they wanted 4 sports. However, that is just a small niggle really, because the other sports are so much fun. Snowboarding, skiing, and wingsuiting. Snowboarding is by far my favourite pastime. It's exhilaratingly fast as you fly down slopes, and it's versatile with the ability to do lots of jumps and manoeuvres, and hands down will be the sport most people play. Wingsuiting will follow. It's as, if not more, fast-paced. However, it lacks the depth of the skill and stunts you can do in snowboarding. And skiing comes third for me purely because snowboarding's here. Skiing is definitely different to snowboarding, but I don't feel it clearly defines the separation between itself and snowboarding. And because of this, it means I lump the two together, and then I'll always end up choosing snowboarding when snowboarding and skiing are options. But yeah, 3 out of the 4 sports are really good fun. Now, controls appear to be a little simple at the start, but after spending time, you clearly realise that there is a lot more hidden underneath. Pulling off successful stunts and finding the fastest route or scoring the highest number of points is genuinely bloody difficult, and I can tell you now the amount of editing in this video to get some decent full runs in without me faceplanting into the snow is just ridiculous. But it's not frustrating playing with this difficulty. It's actually the opposite. It drives you to beat it, and I love that challenge. The desire not to just get from A to B, but to do it perfectly or as best as you can with as much flair. A few other points about the game I want to make. It is a very large open world. You can travel massive distances uninhibited, and you are continually unlocking new areas to explore, and the ability to easily jump to any location at any moment's whim, or change your sport, or restart a race instantly is inexplicably good. There are essentially no loading times, and it means you're never stressed waiting for another loading bar or put off the idea of wanting to try another sport because you're worried it'll take time to transition to that sport. And it's the same with traveling. You're never worried about the time it's going to take to travel because it doesn't take any time. It's instant. Steep doesn't care about realism where it doesn't need to. It wants you to be able to just jump into any race or your choice of location in any sport at a moment's notice and have that transition feel perfectly fluid. And it pulls this off so well. I also want to point out the very nice replay system. It gives you seamless control to replay any moment with multiple levels of slow-mo, the ability to move the camera into pretty much any position you want, even control over time of day, though strangely not a night-day cycle, just the position of the sun during the day or during the night depending on when the recording was. But yeah, it's still quite amazing as it's a replay. And this will definitely provide a great way for people to share awesome moments, of which you can certainly get a lot from this game. A funny thing I do love is the ragdoll at any moment choice, which obviously has no real use beyond just looking hilarious. Now, there was a weird bug where I couldn't launch the game for a while, and then it turned out that because I had Bitdefender, it was blocking it, so once I turned off active threat control, it just could launch like normal, and it's a bug I expect to be ironed out in the final release. Also, the menu movement system uses a cursor that... well, just look on screen. It's a joke. It's obviously just a beta thing and will be gone in the final release, but yeah, it just makes navigating the menus a nightmare. Now, I do worry that there aren't going to be enough sports to keep me interested. Honestly, though, this is a question I can't answer for a long time until after I've played a month or more with the final game. But right now, it's not really something that worries me too much, but it is on my mind. So yeah, I won't deny I didn't expect to like this when I first started, yet I have been seriously surprised. I urge anyone who thinks that they won't enjoy it to just give it a go. It's a surprisingly refreshing game, and I 100% cannot wait for the full release. I'm going to give this a WideAsFcuk score of 3. It could have been a 4, but the locked HUD and cutscenes mean I can't go higher. But thankfully the gameplay is perfect, and I'm hoping that in the final release they can just tweak a few things so that we can get better 21:9 support. Anyway, I hope that gives you some information on how the game runs at 21:9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, and subscribe for future info. I'll be sure to cover the full game's release when that comes, so watch out for that on my channel. And for any of the games at 21:9, head over to my channel. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, the links to my Patreon page are in the description. See ya later.
And he's got hot air balloons all over the regions that only the best riders get access to. That's you, partner.
Cracking work, sir. Cracking work.